Happy 60th anniversary to IERES. It is a pleasure to celebrate 60 years of our institute. I was honored to be the director for 4 years from 2005 to 2009. The main thing that happened at IERES while I was director was a real focus on expanding and disseminating information about the Cold War. Of course, the Soviet Union had been the adversary against the US, and so all the countries of Europe and the former Soviet Union had been deeply involved in that. And since the end of the Cold War, the archives have been opened up in those countries, and we've been able to tell the real story of what was going on. We did several things at IERES in order to highlight this and really put IERES on the map, on the global map, as being one of the top places to come to understand the history of the Cold War and its legacy. And one of the key ways we did that, aside from our own scholarship, was training students. There was a cohort of faculty who were experts on the Cold War. That included Jim Goldgeier, Jim Hirschberg, Greg Brzezinski, and myself to train doctoral students from the US and around the world. We started 2 initiatives. One was the annual graduate student conference, where students would present their own research on the Cold War and would get commentary by experts. This included GW, the University of California at Santa Barbara, and the London School of Economics. We rotated hosting this conference every year, and we invited students and scholars initially from the 3 schools, but then we expanded internationally, which was really exciting. And it built a cohort of doctoral students studying this. We also launched something called SICAR, the Summer Institute on Conducting Archival Research, which was funded with support from GW and massive support from the Mellon Foundation. This was a 1-week program in the summer to train doctoral students in how to conduct archival research all over the world on the Cold War. Those of us who had done that already gave them the benefit of our own experiences, and we brought in the Washington experts from the Library of Congress, the National Archives, the National Security Archives, presidential libraries. That also created a wonderful cohort of students. Finally, on this training of students on the Cold War, in the summer of 2008, I was so excited to lead a group of 9 GW doctoral students to China for a US-China graduate student conference on the Cold War, where our students and Chinese students presented their research. It was incredibly exciting and also incredibly hot and humid in Shanghai in August, but we learned a lot from each other, and the students certainly had a great time, as did I. And it was just really wonderful that IERES was invited by the Chinese to come bring the expert scholars as well as our students to help essentially train Chinese doctoral students. The general atmosphere of IERES that I think is so special is having faculty members, visiting scholars from around the world, and something that I started when I was there, which was having undergraduate and graduate student fellows as part of the life of IERES. So they had office space, they got to know the faculty and the visiting scholars, they presented their own research, and they formed a cohort. Several of them are now working in the Office of the Historian at the State Department, which is very exciting. So finally, on a personal note, the most wonderful open face of IERES particularly was visible Friday afternoons, late in the day, for staff meetings. These were happy hours with students, faculty, staff from the Institute, but also from the wider Washington community and the Elliott School and GW more generally. So these Friday afternoon staff meetings were started by our former director, Jim Millar, together with kind of the heart of the Institute, Suzanne Stevenson, who was in charge of the finances for the Institute, but ultimately for the Elliott School as a whole. Suzanne would gather beautiful glasses on sale for $2 from various stores, and plates and things, so that we could enjoy in style our happy hour Friday afternoons that brought together the students, the faculty, and the staff of IERES and others at GW and beyond to get together and talk about what was going on in our region of the world, maybe to enjoy some of the food and drink from our region of the world, and get to know each other better, and in some cases decide to co-author articles together. So it was a wonderful time, and my 4 years being the director of IERES were 4 really happy, inspired years. Congratulations and happy 60th anniversary to IERES.